This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. I'm here at Bentley Baths. Since 2003, they have been dedicated to your safety by providing walk-in therapy tubs for individuals, seniors, and caregivers across the nation. I am here with the CEO and founder, George. Thanks for joining us here today. Really, you're an author, speaker, specialist, consumer advocate, yet your background is that of law, teaching law. You have studied in some of the finest educational facilities in the nation. Share with me how this kind of a personal story happened that got you going into a whole new direction and into this industry.
Well, I tell people I wasn't looking for this business, but it actually found me through my family. My mother fell and hurt herself in the bathtub, 83 years old, healthy as a horse, and that put her on a downward spiral medically, and we lost her in a nursing home. But as far as the business, my family and I had to go through this process, and we realized that neither of my parents were safe in their home, and there were technologies and things that could be done proactively to have prevented this from happening to my mom. So that's
wow, a story like that really affects anyone that hears it. It definitely affected your father. I mean, he decided right then and there that nursing home was not going to be his place. Like most men, we don't want to end up there as well. Is this something that you find with most people?
Sure. I've interviewed well over 10,000 adults, their adult children, caregivers in the last 12, 13 years, and virtually everyone is going to say they want to stay in their own home. The issue about leaving the home is if they feel like they're not safe or comfortable there for some reason, and they don't realize that we have technologies and things that we can do to modify their home and make life easy for them. So given that, everyone's going to tell you they want to stay in their own home for as long as possible.
As you began this quest, trying to keep your father safe at home, were you kind of surprised that there wasn't a lot of information out there available to people? And is that really what the wellness technologies that you provide are trying to close that gap?
That's exactly right. Again, this all happened because I'm going through this process trying to help my father, and there was nobody I could find out there that had the expertise. So, and this was 12, 13 years ago. The market is growing exponentially now with all the baby boomers moving into old age. And so I became a certified aging in place specialist, became a certified environmental access consultant, and didn't start a business, but I started lecturing, writing, consulting with people. Being a lawyer, I mean, that's what I thought. I'm going to consult with people, right? But what happened was then people started coming to me looking for the expertise, and there were no contractors and vendors in the market that were really focused on high quality solutions. So that's how Bentley Baths started, is I was just, people needed help, and I was the one to do it for them.
And we're talking about elderly in the home, but I mean, quite honestly, I don't care if you're a child, middle-aged, elderly, the bathroom, the bathtub has to be one of the most dangerous places in our home, and yet we engage in that environment almost daily.
Well, it's the most dangerous 10 square feet on earth for two groups of people, and that's anybody over the age of 55, but it's also the same for kids under the age of 7. As a parent, I would never send a toddler into a bathroom and expect them to interact in there and be safe on their own. We're not going to do that. But as we age, we become weaker and less stable, and the same issues are true for us as we get older. What was once safe, we reach the point where it's no longer safe anymore.
When I think of assisted living, I mean, really the range of assisted living is great. We're talking about somebody who maybe needs around-the-clock supervision, all the way down to somebody who just maybe needs to be checked in on. Why is a personal evaluation on the front end so important to make sure you get the right product out there for them?
I call it a life plan. And most people, again, are not budgeting and thinking about the proactive process of how I modify my home environment so that I can stay there. So for example, my dad's 98 years old. He still lives independently in rural Arkansas, but we have a plan in place. We know when he can't bathe himself independently anymore, that's not the day he goes into a nursing home. That's the day we provide him with what help he needs to stay there. And we can do that proactively starting in our 40s and 50s, and budget for it and plan for it to make the modifications as they become necessary. The bottom line, it is way less expensive to modify an existing home, keep somebody there safe, bring in what help they need when they get to that point, versus going into a nursing home or assisted living.
We're talking about these tubs being safe. Not only the tub can be dangerous, but you're talking even the water coming out can be dangerous. Tell me about that.
Well, we have over 6 Americans die every month from water-related burns. This is something we never even think about. And I looked for these guidelines to help make my dad safe, and I couldn't find anything in the plumbing codes, nothing in the building codes. Where most of these things are is in a body of knowledge called the Americans with Disabilities Act. But they don't necessarily relate to everything, and they're designed for government buildings. But if I started extrapolating, then I realized that if I'm in a nursing home or assisted living, any water that comes into a bathing environment is going to be thermostatically protected. So that means everybody should have thermostatically protected water so we can't accidentally scald ourselves. So these guidelines, what makes something a Bentley bath is that we apply these guidelines uniquely for each customer to help them design the best environment for them, to make them safe, and accomplish their goal of keeping them independent.
Speaking of best environment, I mean, someone who is unstable just getting around in the home, I imagine it's a great challenge getting in and out of the bathtub. Start off, tell us what a walk-in tub is for the folks.
Well, it's basically a deep soaking environment with high sidewalls, and we see people rushing into showers because they can get in, and they're sticking portable benches and things like that in there, which are inherently unsafe. The idea behind a safe bathing appliance is that we do have a seat, but the seat's integrated into the shell of the bathing environment. I have a high sidewall. I can't fall in, I can't fall out. I'm basically stabilized throughout that entire transition. And one thing there's a lot of confusion about, and I talk about this in my book, people think showers are safe because they can get in, but I can't make a shower safe. It's inherently dangerous. And the mere fact that I'm standing up and transferring in and out of this space without stabilization makes it far more dangerous than we realize.
Speaking of some of the models, I mean, I see different Swan models. What are the variations that we can choose from or opt in or out of?
Over 13 years, I've developed 35 different shells and configurations, and it's a function of the environment, the body size of the people that we're dealing with, and then also their mobility. So if I've got somebody with a really small bathroom, then we're going to be looking at putting the appliance in that fits their body best, so maybe we have to modify that, do more construction around getting it in, versus putting a tub in that might be too small for them. We've had people in wheelchairs with all different degrees of mobility, so we've had to develop access to shells and engineering that will address each one of those mobility challenges.
How does the walk-in tub differ from that of a, let's say, a transition tub? What is that?
Well, a transition tub is not a tub that you stand in. In other words, it's designed for people in a wheelchair, and I will transfer from my wheelchair or walker directly onto a bench within the bathing shell of the tub, and then I close the door. They generally have an outward swinging door. So anybody with more restricted mobility issues is going to want to think about what we call our Heron line, but transition tubs.
Walk-in tubs, transition tubs, even low-level tubs. It really boils down, like you say, the needs of each individual, which differ greatly.
Yep, that's right. And we can do showers, wet rooms, wheelchair-accessible showers. We do a lot of work with assisted living facilities and places that have multi-bathers. But again, the idea is to look at that environment as it exists now and be very realistic and proactive about these are the changes that need to be made to make this safe. And I tell people in my book, I can make a bathroom 100 times safer for under $100. It doesn't have to be hugely expensive, but we have to have that information, and we have to put that information into play, or we stay at risk.
For the utmost safety in some of these baths, do they require even a special plumbing compared to what is standard?
Well, absolutely. And people go, oh, special plumbing, that means it's really, what it means is we take into account the fact that it's a different bathing experience, and the other competitors in the market never think about these things. I'm thinking, my dad is using this appliance, I want him to have a high quality of life. So we want to upsize plumbing, in particular through the valves that we use. We custom specify every one of our plumbing fixtures, but we're looking for a situation that will provide the greatest amount of water into the tub as possible to fill it as fast as possible. We want to do the same thing on the draining side, because you have to wait for it to drain to get out. And you hear negative things in them, oh, they take too long to fill, take too long to drain. You're talking about some competition or company that hasn't really addressed how we take care of the fill and drain times.
Basically, safety has always been job number one, but really you've raised the bar. You're even helping us feel better with our aches and pains. A creator of the medical hydrotherapy. Tell me what that is a little bit.
Well, that's really cool because when I started, I was just thinking about making my dad safe. And I realized very quickly I was actually over in England, and the factory over there building these tubs is putting these closed air systems on them. And I'm going like, where are the water jets? You know, where's the hot tub jacuzzi system on these tubs? And they're saying, no, we do it for the healthcare system. They're all prescribed by doctors and provided by the healthcare system. And I started going, well, wait a minute, that means whatever you're doing is medically appropriate. So I started doing the research. I've trademarked what we call medical hydrotherapy, which means that it's temperature appropriate, sanitary, non-aggressive, whole body massage. So each one of those points is very temperature appropriate, means not a hot tub. So if you go into a professional sports training facility, they'll have what we call medical hydrotherapy, but it's in something that looks like a cattle trough with an outboard motor on it. But the point is, it's temperature appropriate. Maybe people have seen pictures of Peyton Manning in ice water. We can adjust the temperature based on what we're trying to deal with. And that technology applies to all of our age-related and degenerative health conditions. So we want to keep it sanitary. We want non-aggressive whole body massage. And the bottom line is when I get in an environment like that I can stay in 15, 20, 30 minutes as long as I want to, after 15 minutes I've done two things. Number one, I've engaged my lymphatic system, which detoxes, cleanses, oxygenates our body, helps with all those inflamed tissues throughout our body. So it doesn't matter, arthritis, diabetes, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, insomnia, you just go down the list, we will benefit from that. The other thing that we're looking to do other than detox and cleansing is to flush our microcapillary system. It's not the artery. If our arteries and veins, heart disease, the number one killer in the U.S., it means we're plugging up our major arteries with cholesterol to the extent that they're shutting down, right? We have this microscopic network of capillaries throughout our body that if an artery is plugged up, imagine what these little microscopic vessels are like, right? They're completely plugged up. So anything we can do that's non-aggressive whole body massage to stimulate and flush out our microcapillary system is just huge.
This is the microbubbles, something that a lot of people, maybe they've heard of hydrotherapy, but microbubbles, this is pretty high tech.
That's a brand new one. That's, I mean, I've been researching that for 7 years now, and the idea is we are negatively and positively ionically charged, right? Our body is an electromagnetic field, and these generators produce small negatively charged, negative ionic charged bubbles that are less than 1/10 of a micron in diameter. And these bubbles will penetrate the skin cells, go directly to the dermis, and they deep clean, they oxygenate, they moisturize naturally. And the skin is our largest organ in our body, right? If we don't take care of our skin, I mean, most of the impurities we absorb into our system are through our skin. So anything we can do to help make our skin healthy is huge. And certainly people with skin conditions are going to benefit from this. But just to stay healthy and be proactive about aging, now I take soaps out of my life. I don't have these toxic chemicals that I'm trying to clean my body with. It's just a hugely healthful technology.
I mean, it's amazing because this is a technology that is available right in your home. I mean, you go to a nursing home, you can opt in for some hydrotherapy, pay extra for it. You can go to a spa, pay pretty well for it. This is therapy you can have right in your home anytime, makes it very convenient. What are some of the ailments that people are able to ward off?
Well, let me think. There's only a few. You have to give me some time here. It literally, everything that we refer to in Western medicine as age-related or degenerative, which is everything we're dealing with, is going to benefit from the medical hydrotherapy. And the reason is, it's not magic. What we're doing is our body is engineered to heal itself. And if we give it what it needs, rather than putting toxic chemicals or invasive surgeries to try to correct things, if we give our body what it needs to heal itself, it will. And so the medical hydrotherapy is effective with anything. So multiple sclerosis, depression, Alzheimer's, we got great benefits. I never thought anything would benefit Alzheimer's, but it actually does, because anything that stimulates neurological processes is a positive thing. Diabetes, arthritis, you just go down the list.
Like you say, disease knows no name.
Yeah.
Basically, just keeping you healthy. We're just providing the environment so your body can do what it was designed to do in the first place. Very important that we have a quality product, which you do. Why is it also important for people to line themselves up with professionals when they buy these to make sure that they understand what they're getting in?
Oh, this is a new technology that, and I didn't know. I mean, I'm the only guy stupid enough to spend 12 years running around looking at everything in the market and educating myself. But again, I did it out of passion to help people, and people were coming to me because they were getting taken advantage of. They were having problems. They paid too much. They had product that wasn't functioning properly. So the business kind of evolved, and I will tell you that this is not the type of appliance or equipment that you want to buy from a big box store. You do not want to buy it over the internet, and you certainly don't want to buy it from some large high-pressure lead generation sales company. You want to work with a local professional who truly understands. And the way these products are being marketed now, there's three ways. Some of the people are bad guys. Some of them are not bad guys, but it's hard to tell the difference. But it's the national mass media lead generation companies, like aluminum siding sales, right? We have the internet. People going on the don't ever buy something like this on the internet. And they run multiple sites. Again, it's a whole other issue. And then we have this area that's kind of in the gray zone that I call ancillary businesses. These are not necessarily bad guys at all. So I'm a plumber, I'm a contractor, a handyman, a DME company. I'm going, oh, let's add walk-in bathtubs to what we have to offer. Nothing wrong with that. But they don't carry the depth of expertise and knowledge about each individual situation to be able to advise that client and help them design the very best outcome for them.
The consumers go out there on the internet, they spend one evening learning. Maybe these guys go out and spend a week learning. Somebody who's put years into it, obviously there's going to be a big difference there. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their contact information. This is a company that is located here in Denver, Colorado. They also have a location to serve you across the nation, really. Check out their website. You can start there and learn more about the products, everything that they offer there. You can also take a look at the different models as well. Quite a few, but the best way is really to set up an initial evaluation to find out what it is you need. Everyone's needs are different. They've got great questions you can begin asking yourself, wondering if your shower is actually safe, basically for the person you're possibly providing for. And take a look. They got some PDFs you can download, blogs. It's a plethora of information on one website that you're going to learn quite a bit there. Check them out on Facebook. They'll keep you apprised of ways that you can keep yourself healthy as well as your family. All the products here, when I look out there as a parent, or as a child of a parent, we'll do anything for our parents. I mean, keeping them safe from harm. I would have to say the bathroom probably is a great place to start.
It is the place to start. Again, it is the most dangerous room in the home. It's the place we have to go into multiple times a day. I may not have to go into the basement every day, but I've got to go into the bathroom every day, and that is the tip of the iceberg. It is the place to start, and it is the easiest to take care of. It just takes getting the information and planning out exactly what the best outcome is for each individual.
This was an episode that you learned firsthand. If your mother, Sarah, was alive today and realized what path you had taken because of this, do you think she would be pleased understanding that hopefully this is something that other families won't have to go through?
Oh, you bet. I know she would. And I tell people, I don't care if you're religious, spiritual, whatever. I just say, the universe meant for me to be doing this, and I had to go through the experience with my mother to realize just how bad it was. And then it was my father that really brought it to fruition, because now he's telling me what he didn't want to have happen. He's like, I'll never go into a nursing home. And I'm like, I'm with you, Dad, because my mom's experience was very ugly. So I know she would be very proud. And my mission is to prevent what happened to her from ever happening to anybody else ever again if I possibly can.
It was your father who challenged you to go out and actually make sure that all wouldn't happen again. Last time, viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen. This is a company that began back in 2003, located right here in Denver, Colorado. That is Bentley Baths. Give them a call before you fall. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.